you create, remember when we entered the card credential account, you can't change it. Now log archive account. Why did AWS choose it? Because they thought that, like, on that log archive account, our company is using both CloudWatch and they are also using Elk Stack, okay, for log management. The second company and the first company also using Splunk. Okay, they use Splunk for log management. So this is a log archive account. Means you can have one log archive account where that all the things that are related to logs, what are they? For example, S3 buckets, Open Search cluster, Elasticsearch clusters, CloudWatch, these things, or Splunk. You can all create the either managed service, or you can install machines or EC2, isolate it to log accounts. Now, what the benefit of it is, if you want to delegate log management, because log management is quite complicated nowadays. Now there is a big data queries. There is a separate team for our log management team. They are Splunk team. They are not just log management. There is a Splunk team in one organization where they look after everything related to Splunk. And they also send logs. They also have some big data functionality so that their team will manage that account completely. Okay, like who comes in that account, what machines are there. So that is one account. Next is auditing account. This is what happens is, I don't know about this particular thing. And then there used to be a shared services account. Why there was a shared services account is, for example, Jenkins. Like, you don't want to install Jenkins server across your each account. What they will do is Jenkins main server. Okay, if it is a EC2 instance, that server, that big server, they will with a primary, secondary node and with high availability mode, they will install it in. They will install it in. They will install it in second one. Okay, you got it right. Okay, so now let us get to this thing. What I wanted is, basically I want to create one account. Okay, I want to just create one new account because I don't know if there is something, this thing, but I don't know if they can allow me to use the same account, right, which I created. Okay, let's do one thing. I just want to create some two account, because if you use an email that's already existing, it won't allow. Okay, right. So this is outlook.com. Then there is sign in. No, I don't want to. Okay, let's try this one.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Anna,
Yeah,
you are doing in another screen. In another screen, I think the screen which we are seeing is static. Like it's not moving.
It's static. Then wait. Switch screen. Yeah. So now you can see my email account, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can.
Yeah. Okay. So let us try giving as our landing zone account. So this is for the log archive. Okay. So you will give some company, you need this. Okay. It's already in use. So it will not accept if you have this thing. Okay. So let's call it as log archive account. And then that is simply equal to next. Issue password. Right, next. Log archive, right? So we have log archive account now. what we can do is something on refresh this page. See, the thing is, signing things. So this is simply equal to log underscore to save this. Okay, so we have this log underscore archive at outlook.com. Okay, change account name. We will keep it like that. Okay. Next, we will also create one thing called outlook.com. You don't do this because you will have to learn how to decommission. I managed to somehow decommission, but it might not be easy. So remember, this is not a member account. This is an organizational account in which you will have several members like Venkat, myself, Abjit, part of a team, or this one. Okay. So create one, audit. All right. So that will be so this is the audit account. Pick a banana. Yeah. So we have okay, and continue to the side. So we just copy that. Okay, so what happens is then it will send a landing zone account. Okay, and this is what configured this thing, configured shared accounts and encryption. You can also add, previously there used to be the guidance of the underlying AWS resource, and then now you can set up the landing zone. So what happens is this account with all the key features and configurations that will be there. We will do another class where we actually go more on the IAM. But right now I wanted to learn it, but because another team is doing it, I said like, okay, I just anyway learned it till this one because I always was wondering, even in my company, current company that I was working, like how does one set up this organizations, multiple organizations, where this is useful is for segregating teams. Okay, data team, apps team. Okay, Iris, like in our sim, there is something called as Iris. What happened? It didn't work, huh? Okay, here it is sent completely. Okay, I don't know what this is there. Anyway, we'll try to do it some other time. But essentially, what happens with this is when you do it, I will try to open the workspaces. We'll have to learn the IAM and the single sign-on. Okay, with either Active Directory or nowadays with OpenAuth. Microsoft Active Directory is by far the most popular single sign-on everywhere. Sometimes it's nowadays it is also OAuth, which is this thing it has moved. So what is the password? Okay, just a minute. Okay, so this is our Amazon Workspace console, and I will also show you something called as Cloudflare, which is also quite. It's like Route 53 exactly, but it makes apparently things far easier than setting up our own DNS servers, and also very quite hot skill, right? Cloudflare. Nowadays, everybody is asking Cloudflare, Cloudflare. Zeppelin, Informa 62953. 535. So this is workspace is like in the cloud, they store all the data that you have, but you can actually like, it appears that as if you are on a Windows computer now. Okay. I told that I cannot work on Windows computer. Can you at least switch me to Amazon Linux? They have two versions. They have desktop version and they have Amazon Linux 2 version. Yeah, so this is there. So for example, it will send this type of links, aws.informa.com. Here, when you log in, this is how I log in. Okay, what happens is it will show you 3 accounts. Okay, in our case, now it will now I will be getting access to 3 more accounts. See, single sign-on is there. It will say 3 accounts, 3 AWS account, G, Sandbox, and Enflows. Now I have put a request for another account. Initially we thought it will be 2 accounts, 3 accounts, one for dev, test, and prod. But then later I said like, why make it complicated? Then even my architect said, yeah, I think it's better because there are only 3 ECS clusters that we need to migrate in Terraform. So we are going to this. So when I log in into this account, right, everything within this one, all the things that you create, whether it's EC2 machines, anything, S3 buckets, anything like whatever we have learned, a Lambdas, secrets manager, everything confined to this account, isolated to this account. That way, you can also see the billing that is related to this account alone. Okay, so that is easy, and also why we are doing, primarily why we are actually creating a new account and migrating everything there is Brazil. There is a new DevOps team that is starting in Brazil for the company. So they are not skilled. They are just like trying to learn certifications and they are going through training. Okay. So that is why we wanted to have a new account for them, for Brazilian account alone, calling it Shelba or something like that. And if you look at it, then there are, of course, there will be a lot of accounts in this thing. But this is essentially like a completely isolated account in the sense, uh, you will not be able to see other accounts like in the Sandbox account and the other account. You will not be able to see unless you actually again do a switch role on it. Okay, so this is how you will be able to switch role, and this is there. So next time we will visit this organization account. Okay, this is quite a very important skill. If somebody, because there are a lot of jobs which are specialized for IAM, just for IAM group, they are calling, and they are quite high paying jobs. In fact, it is as high paying as DevOps or sometimes even more than that particular thing. So this is how, Venkat, is this how? No, yours is like again a different thing, right? And this is single sign-on. Why is this single sign-on? Because Arvind_Pulijala, I have already signed on to Office 365, right? That is why it is not asking me for the password because I already signed in to this Office 365. This is this thing. So it is an account in the Active Directory. See, I am already signed in. It didn't ask me for user ID and password. And that is why AWS also knows that you are already signed in into this Office 365. That is why AWS will also go. So there are 30 or 40 different applications. You can sign in only into one account. That is called as single sign-on. Okay. Very important thing, because otherwise you'll have to log in user ID password for 100 different applications, for AWS one, for Cloudflare one, okay, different things. So once,
Where do
because
we do it? That where do we do the configuration of that single sign-on account?
that I don't know. That we will go through. Even I'll have to learn that. That's a very high-paying skill. Okay, it is actually done in Active Directory.
Microsoft Active Directory.
And each application, it will say you have to configure what is called as SAML, previous or OAuth. You will have to configure that AWS, say that don't ask the user ID and password from him. Instead, go and get it from the Active Directory. Okay, you'll have to do that configuration, SSO configuration that they call. We will do it some other time. Okay, we will dedicate one class just for IAM. In that, we will cover landing zone, how to create, set up landing zone accounts, and how to actually do a single. These are very important skill. We will try to learn it from Active Directory, but I don't know if we are not able to use Active Directory. There is another free provider called as Shibboleth. We will use Shibboleth because Active Directory doesn't come free, I think. Okay, you can't actually.
It's Microsoft.
Microsoft product. There is an open source product called Shibboleth, which most of the universities and social service companies use that. Okay, Shibboleth, which is free of cost. Okay, we'll install Shibboleth. We'll make it as a SAML provider, and then we will be able to get into this one. Okay, so this is the organizational account. Yeah. Next. So this is our MFA devices, and this is a sign out. Okay. So yeah, anyway, so that is, I just wanted to show this thing. And there is something called as Cloudflare, which nowadays everybody is using for DNS management. It's a new startup company. No, not this one. There is a Cloudflare, wait. So this is our Cloudflare account. Okay. Login with SSO. See, it doesn't ask me for the password again. Login with SSO means single sign-on. Because I'm already signed on to Office 365, it will immediately sign you on. Otherwise, it will ask you for the password also. See, all our company's domains, see how many are there. Okay. It is just like Route 53. And it also has a Terraform extension. Like there is a Terraform extension for Cloudflare. Okay. So that is where something I just wanted to show it, because nowadays Cloudflare jobs are too many, and also that company stock value also increased a lot. This, and also for it also does this DNS as well as caching thing, which is there. Okay, but if you know, like if you have been listening to my classes, whatever DNS that we learn in Bind, see when we learn Bind, we can easily do the Route 53 also. Okay, because everything is managed service. You don't have to install a named service. Everything, you just have to, like, everything is managed for you. All the name servers are given to you. All that you have to then do is like add a canonical name entry. So for example, abastor.com is there. Okay, so if you go to the DNS, right, then you will be able to see all the DNS entries for that particular domain. Okay, you will get the name service and everything here. And there is also SSL this thing, and this Cloudflare also connects with the AWS. Okay, with AWS, you will be able to control this particular thing. Firewall access is there. Okay. So that is the create firewall rule. You can create a firewall rule here, like instead of here, you can create a WAF. Okay, and then this is just like WAF. I don't know whether we have seen WAF or not. Next time, sometime, maybe we'll see WAF also. Because the newer DevOps tools like GuardDuty, I think is already enabled by default. Then there is a trusted advisor, which is already enabled. No, GuardDuty, we will have to enable it. WAF, we will have to enable. WAF, we will do a little bit. Inkote emunnai kottayi DevOps tools, Cloud Manager, the Glacier, I think we have already done. We haven't done once. In our case, okay, in our case, my project, I'll tell you what is my task. My task right now is this. Basically, what they want is this entire code is there in Terraform. Most of the code is there in Terraform. If the code is not there in Terraform, I'll have to bring. My task over next period of maybe 1.5 month is I'll go to Sao Paulo region. Okay, Sao Paulo. All right, yeah. Okay, so if I go to this EC2 instances, initially I thought that these EC2 instances need to be migrated to a new account. Then I asked them whether do you have Ansible or Packer, because creating a new machine is okay, but how do we know what is installed on it? And these are all Windows machines. I said like I hate Windows anyway. Okay, so this is IAM role and this there. And what I wanted to do is like I want to shut it down. I wanted to just snapshot them. For example, you can create a snapshot here, actions. Here you can do images and template, create image. Image means AMI. It will create of AMI out of everything, like whatever is there on it, it will just, because if you don't have logic on how to install, if they said, no, we want a fresh install, I said like, what is there on it? They said there might be some talent on it, or we don't know what is there. So I said like, if we don't know what is there, then we shouldn't probably be like messing around, because I don't know what talent is and this thing. So these 7, initially they said like that is there, but I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, one of them has 6 terabyte value. Now they said no, we don't see anybody there, but I am not going to believe them. Those people are like totally, they'll blame me. I'm a contractor. What I'll do is I'll investigate the CloudWatch VPC flow logs we can enable and see if there is any incoming traffic into the IAM prod Chelba and IAM dev synchro app 1 and prod Chelba ecom 1. Okay. So right now the next plan then is they said like just shut them down, snapshot them and make them an AMI and transfer it to S3 with a Glacier rule. That is my first task. Hello? Yeah. Hello? What is it, Abhijit? Sorry?
Nothing from my side.
Nothing, right? Okay. This is one task. And another task is they want this ECS clusters to be migrated. This Elastic Container Services that are there, right? This is already in Terraform, luckily. Okay, so little bit less headache. So this is all within Terraform and they are using Fargate. I think if you do BCP dev, so initially just like the same structure, maybe it's in a different VPC. Okay, these 3 services I need to migrate and they are using RDS. So that is RDS cluster here. So if we have here RDS, okay, this web services, sorry, this microservices based on ECS are connecting to RDS. So another task will be then to migrate RDS. I talked with my architect. There are 2 approaches. One is like a snapshot based approach. Okay. So if you look at it, there is a Chelba ecom cluster. There is customer portal cluster and there is customer portal dev. So initially, okay, this is all using PostgreSQL. PostgreSQL. This is chalba.ecom. I don't know if, but he said everything was PostgreSQL. Now they are saying writer instance. Okay, this is just a three RDS clusters. He said there are only two. Okay, so this is just a cluster, means there will be one primary database and another is basically a reader. We know that, right? Replica mode, read replica. Okay, so this one I have to migrate, this one I have to migrate. Initially I said like, should I just snapshot it? Should I just take a snapshot of it and create a new cluster? If you take a snapshot and then you can transfer that snapshot to an S3 bucket, and from there we will pull it into our account, and or we can just make that S3 available, and then you can restore from S3. So basically, if you say restore from S3, that means that like you will be able to get it. So if you do create database right now, you can use engine options, replication features. That is basically, there must be a snapshot, right? Snapshot restore. So we have to go to the RDS snapshots. Hang on.